parking themselves directly over the barracks. That's such an easy play and is so strong. And this missile turret looks so silly. It's a shrunken head missile turret. Of course, it just is actually 1 second from being completed. Yep, there it finishes. And of course, Braddock is going to easily repel the Mutalisks once those things get done. But just by parking right here, pretty much, this is where the Mutalisks spent like 80% of their time, Mind was able to do significant damage. Look, pulled about 20 food ahead when they were about even in food. And in the meantime, it's just expanding, valuing gas over minerals, it appears. Setting this up very quickly, getting another queen. I don't mind not getting extra queens at this point, and relying more and more off bigger and just more expensive units. Some nice little pushing action, but Braddock is relatively stable at this point. And this is something that's very interesting that Braddock is doing. He's not really getting that many Marines. He is getting another reactor now, but he's favoring a ton of Marauders right now. The most normal thing in the world is Mutalisks for Zerg, and then the follow-up with a Baneling nest, which I'm certain is somewhere around here. Yep, there's a Baneling nest going down. You force Terran to make lots and lots of Marines, and then you get lots and lots of Banelings, and win pretty damn easily. So that pretty much is one of those standard transitions you should have in your pocket. Not any sort of big issue, or excuse me, not any sort of like a big problem with doing that opening, or even that transition at any point, really. That's gonna always be strong for the most part. So, I mean, it's increasingly becoming one of those mega standards in the matchup. And look at this Mind already getting his upgrades, really great. And this is something interesting that Braddock is doing. Now he's starting to make a lot of Marines. He's really starting to see that those Mutalisk numbers are remaining high. And one thing that we saw out of Maka, if any of you watched Maka versus Czech, Maka just got a ton of barracks and very few medivacs. A lot of people, again, like I said, don't really like making out of this starport unless they have an add-on. When they get to late stages, they just go, "Hurr!" and they throw down a reactor and they start spamming that D button, because hell, more the medivacs, the merrier, right? But Maka really showed the strength of just powering hard with a ton of barracks units. Notice that Braddock was 20 food behind. After that Mutalisk harass, he's slowly closing the gap. He's only about 10 food behind. And being so responsible about those upgrades, one of my favorite parts about watching Braddock play. He's just good as the game goes on longer. It just gets better and better and better. Another one of these troop movement things, Braddock moving out with units as he takes the top left. So that is just fantastic. And of course, as usual, my mouse hand slips, so I missed the battle, but I just easily press this B button to rewind. And of course, here comes the big push forward. Now let's slow this down and admire this unit control by Braddock. Notice how he spreads everything out so well and is picking off tons of these Banelings. Are you seeing this amazing spread by Braddock? Easily avoiding the brunt of the damage from those Banelings. Unfortunately, and here is more one control group syndrome in action. So I will back this up. Now, you hear me say this a lot, like, oh, one control group syndrome. You don't want to have one control group. And, you know, a lot of people take this to the extreme, and they're like, all right, well, I'll get, like, 9 control groups. You know, I have 10 Marines. I will make 1 group of 2, and then 8 groups of 1. Yeah, you know, and that's not the point. You don't want to just make more control groups for the sake of making more control groups if it doesn't make sense. But it's so critical to just make sure you're not making any sort of silly mistakes. So, for instance, here is going to be a silly mistake. What is this control group setup by Braddock? Well, in control group 4, we have every single unit that he has. Here are the Marines and the Marauders and the 3 medivacs. Now, when you start pulling everything back here, again, going in super slow motion, wouldn't it be nice if all of these medivacs were in one control group? Because then, what would that mean? You could do something like go 2 click and move them back, and then your control group 1, which is all these Marines and Marauders, could be controlled appropriately. Regardless, look at this really nice spread. And sadly, these medivacs up here get, again, auto-targeted by Mind's Mutalisks. They get favored heavily. So, anyways, big leap for Mind right there, right? Did quite a good bit of damage. But to really say that this is Mind retaining his league, his lead. Now he's really starting to pull increasingly farther ahead, but still, Braddock is doing a decently good job maintaining some sort of hope. And of course, the panic turret build, oh wait a minute, oh that's right, I don't have any defenses here. And having to throw these down right away. One Corruptor is kind of a cute choice. You know, the good old one unit's always going to be shooting at the medivacs, but of course it doesn't matter because all your mutants are going to be shooting at the medivacs no matter what. And Braddock, this is great foreplanning. We're going to see him build an orbital command right here. As this one's dying, he just throws down another one. That's an unbelievable display of calm. Just sort of going, yep, gonna lose it, and just starting another thing earlier on. And this huge focus on all these barracks. Now, you know, I am going to open up this production tab for a little bit because I am curious, genuinely, if Braddock is going to be making non-stop medivacs, or if he's just going to favor getting a few medivacs and trying to do mainly Marine Marauder action, get a bigger army. And still, Braddock doing this really awesome little tiny pushing stuff. And again, it's these touches by Braddock that give me such delight at what could happen in the future for StarCraft 2. The fact that all these little techniques that we're so familiar with in StarCraft 1 that we missed, such as these early pushes like the one that Braddock did here, or these little small unit runarounds that we're seeing Braddock do right here, those things have seemed to be missing, but Braddock making such great use of them here and showing why it's important to have vision of space in all these circumstances. And I mean, this is pretty close. Oh my god, bringing the hatchery down. Wow, is he actually going to get it? No, it looks like he was one stim too short. That was just 4 Marauders, and he managed to take out a Queen anyways, so that's definitely pretty awesome. And as we look at this production tab, does not look like many many medivacs are being made. Yeah, there's 2 coming out now, but there are really only 2 other ones down here, or 3 other ones doing another little drop. But look at this non-stop aggression by Braddock, just battling his way forward into this game. Target firing the Hive, getting rid of that. Oh, Jesus, is he going to get it? This is just such an insanely aggressive move. And then more units coming here. This is like the exact opposite of typical StarCraft 2 play. And, oh god, the weakened medivacs in the front. One ends up falling. And, of course, he's pulling everything back. And notice everything. Now they're targeting. If these Mutalisks had that medivac in range. Yeah, see, look, the Mutalisks that have the medivac in range are actually target firing it. Really weird. But that layer did go down. This small group over here killed off this hatch. It's kind of amazing. Brad, okay, really is pulling through here. And of course, the huge Zergling Baneling. Uh-oh, getting surrounded. Baneling's desperately trying to get up there. Oh, totally awesome. Completely unnecessary. Totally awesome. And the Mutalisks trying to come up again to do a little bit of something. Turrets in the way. And you know, this is, again, good planning by Braddock. Notice that I haven't really been looking deeply into the main base of Braddock, but as Braddock's moving around all over the place, oh my goodness, there's 2 turrets back home. Fantastic job by Braddock keeping track of that. That is just amazing, the idea that he is pushing out aggressively with these tiny forces, constantly getting in front of his opponent's face, and still is going, yeah, I better make sure I don't lose to a counterattack, and throwing down some more turrets. Anytime you're being very aggressive, counterattacking is a much, much bigger concern. And in the meantime, of all of this, getting us command center. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, Braddock pushing everything back. Look at me, just oogle at Braddock all day. And, uh-oh, yeah, looks like, won't be able to upgrade 3-3. These Zerglings and the Banelings are 2-2. So just very nice tactical display by Braddock. And moving out yet again. Not a ton of medivacs. Getting some when he can, it looks like, but a lot of them are dying in the midst of these very aggressive pushes, and with these mules landing at this 3rd base, Braddock having a little bit more money than I think he was expecting. So could easily be building another command center right now, or just happily macroing. Another nice little play by Braddock, moving around here first. A lot of times it's easy just to click and just march right through here, but of course you open yourself up to getting pinched off from an attack coming down this ramp here. This just helps close things off a little bit, makes it a little easier to manage. You have better space to retreat up here. And as usual, Braddock continuing to macro his little heart out. I'm a little interested by this mix, which is about half and half. 3 reactors, 3 tech labs. And whoa, here comes apparently mass medevac production. That's an interesting transition. Is he really going to be going double medevacs? I am actually just going to wait to see. Wow, yeah, he is taking a lesson out of Greetorp's book. Greetorp, who absolutely adores having like a 20 medevac mix. That is his favorite thing in the universe in this matchup. Looks like Braddock is going to be doing the same thing as well. Now, we must stop right now and talk just a little bit about transitioning. I've been oogling at the aggressive play by Braddock, all these tactical move arounds the back and into the main, and then attacking down the front and taking 4 Marauders this way. Cool stuff, really awesome stuff. But again, that is tactics. That is just good in-game management. That is good in-game judgment. That is not